Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Green Bay to take on the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football in Week 10 of the NFL. My name is Steve, and we got your best bets video for this game. We're going to have a money line pick, 2 player props, and 2 parlays for this game that I think are great value bets. Let's lock in and make some money here on Monday night.
Well, my presence isn't real. It's another bad one like this is scale. It's straight fire. All my bets straight from. You're in the house that cat made now. Straight fire.
As always, my friends, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for me. Always appreciate that. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Seriously, if you guys can, I would appreciate it if you guys hit the like button. Hype the video, comment on the video, share the video. Guys, it means the world to me and it helps me out a ton. And it's absolutely free to do. And it really helps us grow here at the channel. So, appreciate y'all. I don't have a recap for you from Sunday because I'm obviously recording this early. Hopefully, we made some money on Sunday and did solid. That is always the hope. Like I said, don't have a recap for you. So typically we'd run a recap section, then we go over our comment cappers. Same thing there. So don't forget, though, to drop your favorite play down below in the chat. Put a star or an asterisk next to your pick, and we'll include your pick in our next video if it hits. So basically on Thursday night, I do a full recap of the whole NFL weekend. Comment cappers and everything. It's a big thing on Thursday nights. We do a lot of recap work on Thursday nights. So just keep that in mind. Really excited for this game, though, guys. Excited to get into it. Eagles coming off a bye week. Green Bay coming off a tough loss last week to Carolina. So it should be interesting to see what happens up at Lambeau. We will be running a live stream for this game as well, so keep that in mind. This is one of those games I'm really looking forward to. A marquee matchup on Monday night. Live stream will start around 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll start our live stream about 15 minutes ahead of game time. We'll be running game audio, watch party, stuff like that. It's usually a lot of fun. We'll be sweating out the bets live. If you guys are interested in that, we'll just be having some fun. So, as always, appreciate y'all. Don't forget to drop your favorite pick below. Check out the pinned comment and also the description for any links you guys are looking for here on the channel. Social media links. Follow us on X, Instagram, TikTok. Membership, $3.99 for the entire month to get access to all these picks and plays early, hours in advance of the video. Really is a great value there as well. And then merchandise links are also down below if you guys are interested in anything like that. Outside of that, guys, it's time to get after it, get a sweep here on Monday Night Football. What do you say? Let's get right into it, guys. At number 1, we are going with the Philadelphia Eagles money line here versus the Green Bay Packers. Getting solid value here, plus 100 odds here on FanDuel. It's not often to get plus money on the Eagles money line. But there's been a couple cases this year. We took them earlier this season versus Kansas City. They went on the road and beat KC on the road. You love to see it. I think they got a great shot here to win this one. So, obviously, if you guys were paying attention to the NFL last week, biggest upset of the week happened up in Green Bay. Packers lost at home to the Carolina Panthers, who were 2-touchdown underdogs. Obviously that's playing into part of this a little bit. But the biggest thing that happened in that game, I think, is Tucker Kraft got hurt, and he's now done for the year, which I think is huge. Tucker Kraft was a huge safety valve for Jordan Love, and I didn't take him out of the lineup. That's a huge loss. He was really having an all-pro season. He was definitely heading for a Pro Bowl. Tucker Kraft was having a crazy good season. Multiple games over 100 yards receiving. So that's definitely a big hit, right? No doubt about it. And the other thing I noted from that game versus the Panthers is they didn't do a very good job stopping the run. Rico Dowdle ran all over them for 130 yards last week. That's something I got to pay attention to. You got one of the best running teams coming into Green Bay here, and Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and the boys. And they also seem to find themselves. Right before the bye week, they put up 150 rushing yards for Barkley. So obviously love seeing that. And that was without Jurgens in the lineup, which he'll be out of the lineup too. But without Jurgens, they actually seem to run the ball better, which is kind of weird. But so I'm confident the Eagles can be able to run the ball here. The Packers at times have looked vulnerable versus the run, especially, like I said, of late. 7 of the last 9 running backs have actually cashed their personal rushing props versus the Packers. So this is a team right now I think you can run on. And if that's the case, then it really opens up the whole playbook for Philly. If you get the run game going, it opens up their play action. And they obviously have 2 of the better receivers in the NFL, in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. So a lot to contend with here. Dallas Goedert's also, having an all-pro season at tight end as well. So a lot to contend with this Eagles offense. And I just don't trust the consistency of Jordan Love game to game. I really don't. One game he looks like, he completes 20 passes in a row. He looks like an MVP. Then he plays against the Panthers, and he looks like, I don't know, what was he doing, guys? You know what I mean? Just like, what's going on here? All of a sudden he can't make plays. That was at home. So it's like, there's a lot of things I like here for Philly. The momentum is all with Philadelphia. The injury situation right now, I'd have to give an edge to Philly, like I said, with the Tucker Kraft going down. And then you also got to consider the Eagles coming out of a bye week. They're 4-0 under Nick Sirianni, coming after a bye week. They've had a lot of time to prepare here for Green Bay. And obviously, they're geared up for this game. I think they get a push up front. They're going to be well rested, obviously, after the bye. They got the run game going. This offense has looked a lot better. They've averaged 33 points per game over the last 2 games and almost 400 yards per game over the last 2 games. So the offense is rolling. I think they get this done here. They take care of business up in Green Bay and win this one. Love it there for number 1 pick, guys. We got Philadelphia Eagles money line here versus the Green Bay Packers, plus 100 odds on FanDuel. Okay, to number 2, I'm sure with all that being said, you guys probably know where I'm going. Saquon Barkley, over 74.5 rushing yards here for the Philadelphia Eagles, minus 114 odds on DraftKings. If you guys were playing Barkley's lines last year, you will know how big of a discounted line this is. His lines last year were well above 100. And for good reason, he was cashing. And this year, obviously, he struggled a lot more. Especially early season. But like I said, the last game they played, he posted 150 yards. Looked a lot more like the Saquon Barkley we all know and love. So I think there's a good chance he can continue to have success here versus a Packers team, like I said, that just allowed 130 to Rico Dowdle. And a team right now that, I think versus a good running team, they're going to struggle a little bit here. And that's a big reason why I also like the Eagles to win, because I think Barkley's going to be able to get going here. So like I mentioned before, 7 of the last 9 running backs have cashed their running prop versus the Packers, which is obviously great. Even though the run defense ranks pretty well, of late, they haven't been as great. Like I said, Dowdle with 130 on the ground last week. Can't really do it much better than that, and Saquon's really starting to find himself here. So I love that, and like I said, the other thing I really love is the rest factor, right? This offensive line, this team has had a chance to rest. And even getting a couple extra days of rest, right? With this game being on Monday night. So I think they get that push early up front. And I think that makes the difference. Changes the whole game when you can run the ball in the first quarter of the game. It really does. Opens up the whole playbook. And I think you could see that here. I think you could see Philly being able to open up that playbook and really have, playing complementary football is what I'm expecting here from the Eagles. Like I said, this line is majorly discounted from last season. He cashed this line in 16 and 20 games last year. So does he get back to that form? I don't know if he quite gets back to that form, but I think he can get back to, being a guy that gives you a 90 to 100 a game now. Like I said, from here going forward, as long as they could stay relatively healthy up front. His last 3 outings versus the Packers, he's also cashed, including last season there in the divisional round, so I love seeing that. Like I said, Packers overall ranked 12th overall versus run. That's not horrible. But like I said, of late, they have not been as good. So I think Barkley gets this done. I love it there, guys, for a number 2 pick. We're going Saquon Barkley, over 74.5 rushing yards here for the Philadelphia Eagles. You got minus 114 odds here on DraftKings. Okay, and finally, at number 3, we're going Christian Watson. 40-plus receiving yards here for the Green Bay Packers. We got minus 110 odds on Fanatics risking unit here. So newly back, his first couple games back, shaking off the rust, he's still been able to cash, averaging just 4 targets a game over his first 2, which isn't horrible, actually, for this line. That's about on par, I would say. But I think the targets here could go up. Obviously, like I said, he's kind of spent the first couple games shaking off the rust, right? Still was able to cash, though, in both of those games. And he's actually averaging over 70 yards per game receiving thus far, which is pretty wild when you consider that. Has over 140 yards receiving in 2 games, which I love it. Injuries at wide receiver for Green Bay. It's kind of why I'm thinking they might lean a little more heavily on Watson here. Golden listed as questionable. Jaden Reed obviously out. And Dontavian Wicks also questionable. So a lot of question marks right now with these receivers. And Watson obviously, has been a Packer for a while. Has some history here. Has a lot of history with Jordan Love. And I think he'll be big, obviously, for him coming back too. Like I said, Tucker Kraft still hurts a lot as far as Jordan Love. But this is a guy I think they're going to lean on a lot more. And like I said, I think he's going to be able to have some success here. Secondary receivers have done okay versus Philly. They average 74 yards per game, outside of the number one wide receivers. So obviously Dobbs is going to get that number one attention. But Watson behind him, like I said, I think he's sneaky. I think and he can cash this in one play. That's the beauty of Christian Watson. Watson's also happens to be the Packers' top man-to-man target at wide receiver over the last few years. And Vic Fangio runs a ton of man-to-man for the Eagles. So you like that as well. I think this is going to be the guy they lean on a little more here. I think he can get this done. So love it there for number 3 pick, guys. Get Christian Watson, 40-plus receiving yards here for the Green Bay Packers. Minus 110 odds here on Fanatics. All right, guys, of course, our for the Sweep Parlay, plus 598 odds on Fanatics with our 33% profit boost, risking a 10th of a unit. Keeping in mind one little variation, Barkley, one more rushing yard that we need in this parlay because we're taking this parlay on Fanatics. Like I said, on DraftKings, it's 74.5. On Fanatics, it's 75.5. So perfectly fine with that. I'm not worried about a yard or two. I mean, we haven't lost on the hook in a little while. Hopefully that doesn't happen here. So love it for the Sweep Parlay, guys, plus 598. Plus 598 odds on Fanatics with our profit boost. And then our same game parlay, plus 1,064 odds, risking a 10th of a unit here. We're having a little bit of fun, guys. A.J. Brown, 5+ receptions here for the Eagles. Averages over 8 targets per game over the last 6 games. Packers 22nd DVP in receptions allowed to wide receivers. Brown is starting to turn it up a little bit. Obviously, since he's been chirping, he's starting to also play better. But his social media stuff, I'm going to ignore that for the time being. I don't think that'll affect his receptions in this one. I think he gets that done. Josh Jacobs, anytime touchdowns, 7 of 8 games this season. Philly actually 28th DVP of rushing touchdowns allowed to running back. So, like seeing that. Dallas Goedert, anytime touchdown. He is the guy in the red zone for the Eagles, for Jalen Hurts. 5 of his last 6 games. Green Bay, 25th DVP in touchdowns allowed to tight ends. Love to see it, guys. That's our same game parlay. Like I said, just a 10th of a unit. We're not going crazy. Looking to make a little extra cheddar on the side. Love to see it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you guys did, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for me. Always appreciate that. Like I said, on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I'm super excited to get there. And like I said, I do appreciate y'all. And hopefully we can make some money on Monday night and end our Week 10 in style. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your night. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.